and welcome to another exciting episode of Way of the Brush with me, your host, Kris, aka the Name Butcher, aka Hey You, Get Off My Lawn, aka Kris, you're being creepy again. Way of the Brush, the most informative 120 minutes on the internet on the wargaming lifestyle. We'll talk about painting, terrain, conversions, and just about anything under the sun, meaning no topics are barred. We'll talk about anything and everything. So, first time viewers, be warned. Of course, if you're attending live, you can ask your questions in the chat, whatever they may be. And if you're not watching this live and you're watching this after the fact, you can submit your questions to Kris@wayofthebrush.com. If you're going to send pictures, send them as attachments in the email. Don't send off as links to other sites because I won't do it. So, please don't. Also in the description below, is a link to wayofthebrush.com, central hub of all the silliness. Has links to all the social medias as well as Discord. Discord's been fantastic. Join us on Discord. It's in that lovely little community we've built there, and everybody is so helpful. Monkeys are just been fantastic, and everybody is just so knowledgeable, and it's a lot of fun. So we keep the conversation rolling there 24/7. Also at wayofthebrush.com is a link for t-shirts. Want to get yourself a t-shirt? Look like a connoisseur of all that is good and holy in this world. They're wearing a Way of the Brush t-shirt. And of course, if you purchase yourself a shirt, send a picture of yourself in your shirt, and I will add it to the Monkey Shrine, which is also wayofthebrush.com, as well as a link for Patreon support. Huge thank you to all my patrons. Without your support, these videos would not be possible, as I'm independent, and this is how I keep the lights on and keep all this rolling, and afford all this expenses of all these silly things. So huge thank you to all my patrons. And if you're considering Patreon support, there are varying tiers of support with little perks here and there sprinkled about to entice further support and patronage. I don't know. English wasn't my first love. And if you're not able to support monetarily, i.e. money, thumbing up the video, liking, commenting, subscribing, following, and sharing the video, all of those things help the channel tremendously as well. And you're helping me out a great deal by doing any of those. And it takes just a couple clicks of a button and you're helping me out. So hopefully, it warrants such help. Big thank you to Carl, aka Guymere Alfer, aka Beer and Blood Bowl. That's his YouTube channel. Check him out if you love yourself some beer and you love yourself some Blood Bowl. We always take the time to thank Carl, even though he's no longer with us, for taking the time out of his busy day and what was going on with him to write the email or create the email jingles that play before the email segment of the show. So always much love to Carl. And of course, speaking of love, much love to my baby brother Evan for creating the intro outro music that plays at the beginning and end of the show. So always much love to my baby brother. And if you're into rare comics, check him out, EB Comics, in the description below. And he's got all sorts of rarities and stuff like that. So if you're into that kind of thing, feel free to peruse his wares and see what he's got for sale. And of course, you also help him out tremendously by purchasing comments and stuff like that. Is that it? Is that the usual thing? I think so. I think I'm through the usual spiel, right? I can see Ghost, the Starman Deluxe, Hakers and Monkeys. Hope everyone's having a good day. A good day? Yes. Hopefully. It was looking a little stormy. Initially, when I got up this morning, it was like a little gray and the clouds were really heavy. And I was looking like, oh my gosh. Like, I was kind of concerned that, as I'm streaming this, that, I get a power outage or something like that and, the whole thing goes kaput. But now it's sunny, breezy, just in time for the show. So, and of course, the wind really picks up, knocks out the power lines. And of course, if the stream just all of a sudden stops dead, then, obviously, I was hit by an asteroid. Really, this is really what will happen. Sir Peanut Butter, morning, Kris and Peeps. Morning, Sir Peanut Butter. SIA Artistry. Hey, and a wave. Hey, and a wave. Hey. Scott Radom, there he is. Got the Necromunda Ogren box. It is awesome. Cool. I like those models. They're pretty darn cool. And I can see a lot of people painting those up really well and having a lot of fun with them because they're Ogrens. And, yeah. The new Orlocks. I don't quite get the jump pack. Like okay, if you're playing Sector Mechanicum, which is like more 3-dimensional type of Necromunda, jetpacks, okay, sure, right? But Zone Mortalis, I mean, that's just corridors, and I mean, having a jump pack guy flying around in corridors, he's gonna bang his head off the ceiling, and that doesn't make any sense. Like he's just like a fly on a ceiling kind of thing. He's just gonna bump, and he'll be unconscious by the time he gets to wherever he's going. It doesn't make a lot of sense to have jetpack in the Underhive. I'm not sure, but again, I mean, in the old Necromunda spires, there was a winged spire, so I guess. David Vega, hey Kris and Monkeys, hey Chris Delay. Good day, Kris, and all. Hope you are all keeping well. Keeping well, like keeping well, like meat on a shelf. Oh, that meat's been sitting there for a while. It's not keeping well. It's kind of rotten. I don't know. It's not keeping well. I don't know. I hope you're well as well, but these are interesting times we do live in. It does seem to be getting more and more chaotic, especially for those that live in close proximity or within the United States of America. The whole atmosphere of everything. It's getting pretty silly. And who knows what the world will look like 2021. Could it get darker? Possibly. Could it get brighter? Who knows? Would it get even darker? I think that might be even more likely. But who knows? Because, I'm not a fortune teller. I don't have a crystal ball. Wait. No, I don't have a crystal ball. I thought maybe for a second I did. Ouija board. We could get a Ouija board. Has anybody ever done like a Ouija board online, like on the internet, and streamed it and live streamed a Ouija board? Are there internet ghosts? Could ghosts communicate over the internet? Could a ghost in one house communicate by Ouija board? Like if you're doing like a Zoom meeting and one person has the Ouija board, but somebody else's house is haunted and they're in a Zoom meeting and they're on the Ouija board, would it move? That's the question. And would it be the ghosts in that house or the ghosts at the other place? If so, ghosts can travel via the internet lines, via the interwebs. These are the questions I ask myself. These are the questions that keep me up at night, because I'm thinking long and hard about these really deep questions. Can ghosts use the internet? And if so, can they use them when you're not on it? Have you ever had weird web searches on your computer or your phone and going, hey, I don't remember looking that up? It's a ghost. Or it's a gremlin. One of the two. Board Game Maniacs. Hi, Kris. Hi, Rob. I'll assume it's Rob. Sheldon Zulier. Hey, Uncle. It's Corbin again. Hi, Corby. Board Game Maniacs. Website looks good. It's about time. I've had the website for about a year now. It's, I periodically update it. I've been meaning to do more like blog posts. I've been actually considering doing more written type articles and posting them there and just kind of having them as like a bit of an archive. Some of like sort of like written tutorials and stuff like that, articles and things of that nature on there. Just to help kind of keep traffic moving around. Entice new viewers and such. How it goes, right? I mean, it's the whole point. I mean, like this whole spiel is, it's like this is your time, right? At least the way the brush started off as a time for you guys to ask your hobby questions about whatever is troubling you. And and of course, I always welcome any and all questions, because I know that there are many people out there at varying levels of this hobby and their painting levels and assembly, and and so somebody might just be getting into the game today And I'm more than happy to answer their questions. And it could be somebody who's been in this hobby for 20 years. And I'm more than happy to answer their questions. So, everybody in between. More than happy. I don't know what would be more than happy. Giddy? Would Giddy be more than happy? Is Giddy more than happy? Because he got happy and he got sad. What's in between that two? Fine? It's like a barometer, you know. Alexander K. Hello from Denmark. Hello, Alexander? Alexander? Is it Alexander or is it just said like Alexander? My son is named Alexander. I named my son Alexander. It's just a good proper name. Jones Sam 007. Hello from Germany. Hello, Jones. Jones Sam, or is it Sam Jones? Sam Jones? Is that a famous person? The news last night, right? Everybody out there. You know, Chadwick passed away. Lost his battle. That's a tough one. You know, and then of course you see the usual posts from everybody, you know. Oh, condolences. Oh, weepy. Now, mind you, I mean, it's tragic, you know, to lose somebody, and especially when, you know, somebody famous, of course, is passed before their time, because the guy I think is younger than me, and you know, it's unfortunate. I mean, like, that's too damn young to be dying, and you know, but I mean, like, you know, I had a friend who was in a similar boat, and she went, you know, like that, and you know, yeah. Anyway. Board Game Maniacs, did you play Star Wars Legion yet? I have not. I have not touched it. I have not looked at it. I've not even considered it. It's not even on my radar. And you know, I'm a big Star Wars nerd, but like nerd with a capital N, right? And yeah, no, I don't know. It's just, I mean, it might be fun to do more like a board game style kind of, you know, Empire versus Rebels. But to me personally, like Star Wars Legion, like that game would be far more interesting set in the Clone Wars, right? When you have all this diversity of forces, right? Especially if you're going to go with the tabletop game, you know? And I think with something like Star Wars Legion, I think it should have been a bigger scale. Just because of how, like, it was, it's more skirmish style, right? Because even in the movies, you don't really see big legions of troops, right? It's all more like guerrilla-based actions, right? So it's, you know, 10 rebels against, you know, 20 Imperials kind of thing, right? And, you know, you have that kind of skirmish level type game. And I think they could have went with a bigger miniature. I think if they wanted to, like, you know, break the mold kind of thing, they should have changed things up and not gone with the 28 mil or even the heroic scale, even a 32 mil. You know, I think they should have went. I think they should have went with like a 54, because then that way you got some really nice little sculptures, and it could have been very screen accurate to the movies, right? And then that would have allowed people to have very cinematic looking boards, especially for those who really want to recreate the scenes from the movies, right? It's just like anybody who gets into like World War II type of wargaming. You know, it's the famous battles. It's Kursk. It's D-Day. You know what I mean? Like it's all these famous battles that you want to recreate, and you know, and Star Wars is the same kind of thing. You know, like. But they could have, because of the nature of that setting, they should have went for a larger scale. Now, mind you, I mean, if you went with that scale and then went into the Clone Wars, then, you know. But I guess you couldn't have the really big machines from Star Wars if you went with like a 54 mil. But I mean, if you went 54 mil, that's almost the size of G.I. Joe's. And if you got like the AT-AT Walker from Kenner, or what was it now? Is it still Kenner? I don't even know if it's still Kenner. But if you had that, that would have been, you know, pretty screen accurate as far as, you know, size comparisons, right? And you could have had that in your games and, you know, made all your pew-pew sounds. And making sound effects in your game. I think just about everybody who plays the game, who gets who's into this hobby and plays the game, I think just about everybody makes sound effects, makes the pew pew sounds, because I think that is the cinematic element that everybody refers to when we are playing these games, right? Is making the pew pew sounds. Pew pew, pew pew. VJ 1985. Hi all. Hi VJ. Inquisitor. I can never say that name right. Is it just Sivak? Kivak? I don't know. Hello from Seattle. Hello. Aaron Seach, as George Carlin once said, more than happy sounds like a dangerous mental condition. Yeah. Well, come on. How long have we known each other, Aaron? I mean, me more than... Do you think I'm really mentally stable? Do you even think I'm mentally stable? I don't even think so. Ghost of Starman Deluxe. The happiness meter goes from absolutely shite to utterly fantastic. Whew, that's some broad spectrum right there. Especially if you're feeling that within minutes of each other, right? You just get up. Oh my God. Let's get the day started. Yeah, I think you had some sort of mental break. Alexander K. Yeah, pretty much the same. Oh yeah, the name, yeah. Aaron C. Howdy, Kris and Monkey Brethren. Happy Saturday. Ghost Starman Deluxe. Indeed, Chadwick was only 43, I believe. Was sad to see that this morning. Yeah, I saw it last night before I went to bed, that he passed. And, yeah, I mean, it's terrible. It's terrible. But then, of course, not to make a joke about it, but, I mean, the first thought is, who's going to play Pink Panther? Who's going to play the Pink Panther? Who's going to play the Black Panther? Right? Who's going to do it? Because, Marvel's going to keep pumping out them movies. They're not just going to say, oh, well, Black Panther, he's in the other room. He's busy. He can't come to the screen right now. You know what I mean? They're not going to do that. They're going to recast him. And so, what are they going to do, right? But it is unfortunate that, the man passed, because, he was like Pink Panther. Frick, I keep wanting to say Pink Panther. Black Panther was a really great movie, and he was introduced in what, Civil War or Winter Soldier? It was Civil War, right, when we first saw him. But anyway, he's awesome. He was an awesome character. He's played well. The movie was fantastic. It's probably one of the stronger Marvel movies beside Winter Soldier and Infinity War. I'm trying to think. Oh, and first Iron Man. What else? What are some really strong ones? I can't even think of any other movies that are really good Marvel movies. Like, good movies. Yeah, there's Iron Man. Winter Soldier. First Captain America. But Winter Soldier's really good. Civil War is alright. Infinity War is great. Endgame sucked. Yeah, I'll say it sucked. It didn't suck, but it wasn't as strong a movie as Infinity War. And Black Panther. I'm trying to think what else was really good Marvel movies. I can't think of any other ones. That's it. Andy Ritchie, the current starter set for Star Wars Legion is set in Clone Wars. Is it? Okay. It's not really on my radar, so I have no idea. Again, though, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and judging by today's thumbnail, I think you kind of gather that, right? And but yeah, I'm not really fired up. But mind you, I have not played it, and maybe that's just me being grumpy old man kind of thing, where I'm kind of reluctant to try out new games or get into something. And also, it is about what everybody's playing in your area. So if you go to your local hobby place or wherever you game and nobody's playing the game, but it's something you're really interested in, you're very reluctant to get into it, right? Because nobody else is playing it, and you don't want to be the only fool buying that stuff, and then, the game disappears a year or two later, and even before you finish painting everything. Because then most likely you buy that starter box, it'll be a year before you get it done. And, it's kind of unfortunate, right? But that's really what it is. And it doesn't matter how much, how many influencers and YouTubers and, people on Twitch and YouTube and stuff are playing the game, and, you're watching the videos and stuff like that. You're only living through it vicariously. And ultimately it's kind of pointless, really. It's kind of pointless. For you to really, in my opinion, for you to really enjoy your purchasing, your hobbying, your time spent doing this, the time that it'll occupy in your brain thinking about things, you're really gonna have to go in and start playing the game and being around others, and you know what I mean, like, which is why video games are so damn popular, because everybody's kind of isolated and just farting around on their video games. You don't have to be social, whereas wargaming has a very social component to it, which is interesting. But yeah. Night Warden Gaming, good morning, Monkey Lord. Don't catch many live. You don't catch many alive. Are you a bounty hunter? You don't catch them. You don't catch them live. My God. Bringing them in dead. Rogelshawn, I would jump straight into it if it was a full-blown Cine Wars war game. Klein war game? It's a blown Klein. I don't understand don't know why. I think it's because we are more actual battles. We see more actual battles in the prequels. Yeah, exactly, right? It's the Clone Wars is just a far more interesting setting to have sandbox type of battles and pitting A against B kind of stuff, right? Because you can even have clone factions fighting amongst each other. You can have separatist factions fighting amongst each other. Like, you can have and you can have different worlds fighting each other. Never mind having clone troopers and robots. You can just have the different races that are all in Star Wars, right? Whereas in the Empire era, it's just Empire versus Rebels. And I'm sure in the lore, there's times when there's, other alien races fighting the Empire, but we're talking about the movies, which is what most of this crap is based off of. There's not a lot, and the tendency is, with the Rebel versus the Empire, you're going to only play out a few scenarios, right? You're going to either fight on Tatooine, which, I don't know of any, in the movies, I don't remember any major battles happening on Tatooine. You're going to be fighting on Hoth, so it's a lot of snow, right? You're going to fight Hoth lots of times. And then Endor, big effing forest, right? That's it, because those are the only three big battlegrounds. I mean, unless you made Cloud City one, but that's more or less, you're basically just reenacting, right? I mean, you have to be really knowledgeable in the lore to really get into all the other little behind the scenes type of battles that took place during the Rebels versus the Empire, right? You would have to look at the show Rebels, where Hera and her little Phoenix Squadron, and they're fighting the Empire, right? And then that can be scenarios and such, and that would be fun. That'd be fun if they included the Rebels from the show Rebels. If they included them into the game, that might spice it up a bit. I don't know. And I seen the two, didn't they have, or was that the X-Wing, where they have the bounty hunters? Something like that. I can't remember. I don't know. Again, it's not really something that I paid a lot of attention to. So, even though I'm big into wargaming, and painting miniatures, am I even painted Star Wars models? I don't even know if I've painted any. I can't say. Drawing a blank. Dark Commission, hi Kris and Monkeybots. Hi, Dark Commission. Rogelshan. Clone Wars, not Klein Wars. Oh, Clone Wars. Yeah, the Klein Wars. I hear you. Klein Wars. You gotta watch out for them Klein Wars. Aaron Seach. I have never once claimed that, nor have I claimed I am stable, for the record. David Vega. The show title. Am I mentally stable? Am I mentally stable? Well, I don't think any of you that tunes into listening to me week to week, I don't think any of you are qualified to make that assessment. And if any of you do claim to have the credentials, I'm afraid I'm going to need proof. I want to see diplomas with your Way of the Brush shirt on. Diplomas in psychology and such, you know. And here's my assessment of Kris. Rogelshan. Marvel's Pink Panther would be a weird film. Pink Panther. I don't know why I kept saying Pink Panther. Black Panther. It's the kitty cat. It's a kitty cat movie. He's going to scratch everybody. It was such a good film, though. I liked Black Panther. It was a good film. And it's unfortunate, the man's gone. But, I mean, who's going to play him now? Are they going to find somebody brand new, or are we going to get somebody who we all might be familiar with, right? Who knows? Who knows? But I'm sure as soon as that man passed, I'm sure the execs were like, oh, well, now we got to find somebody new to play that role. Not even it's tragic, he's gone. It's, who do we get to fill that role? Because we got monies to make, right? So, guaranteed. Inquisitor. Ragnarok. Oh, Ragnarok. Yes, I forgot about Ragnarok. Yes, absolutely. You were absolutely correct. Oh, and Guardians of the Galaxy. I forgot about Guardians. First Guardians. Second Guardian was bad. First Guardian's great. And Ragnarok, yeah. Forgot about Ragnarok. Forgot all about it. Yes, I concur. Rogelshan. Civil War was a travesty. I don't know about a travesty. Now, mind you, I'm not that precious about, the Avengers or any of the characters from the Avengers. I never read the comics when I was younger. I was an X-Men kid, and so I'm not really that precious about those characters. So, how they treated Civil War, translating it from comic book to film within, the whole MCU type of setting. Yeah, I really didn't care. I just found it was not a very, I don't know. It's really kind of convoluted, and it seemed to be more of a device to introduce Black Panther, and because some of the other characters and stuff like that, like, they don't get enough time, and I don't know, it just... Oh, and Spider-Man, that was the other one. They wanted to bring in Spider-Man. Because that was before Homecoming, right? So, now the first Spider-Man movie, or not the first Spider-Man, but the Homecoming, that was a good film, but that's not Marvel. I mean, it's Marvel's property, but I mean, it was Sony that made that one. And what's the new one coming out for Spider-Man? Oh, the rumor that what's her name there? Olivia, the one from Tron. She's gonna direct Spider-Woman, which I thought was cool, because apparently that movie that she had done, I hadn't seen it. It was about young girls before they go off to college or something like that. And apparently it did very well. And it's obviously a kind of it's a girl buddy comedy, I guess, is how it's described. Whatever that is, I'm not sure, but apparently it did very well, and it was a pretty good film. So I guess that's why they said that she should do something like that, because oftentimes the Spider-Mans are often very humorous, which is good. I like that, which is why like a movie like Ragnarok, I like, because it's got a good level of humor. Of course, it fundamentally changes Thor. and yet not, because Thor, he's more of a parody of himself in Ragnarok, right? Because he's all in the first two films and in all the other, Avengers stuff, he's very old-timey type of heroic, Shakespearean speaking kind of, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, the over-the-top dialogue and all the posturing and stuff like that. And then in Ragnarok, he's a parody of that, and I found that very humorous. I thought that was really fun. Old Man Logan. Hi, Kris and Monkeys. Happy Saturday painting advice and rant day. Oh, and a little emoji. Ghost Star Man looks, catching him alive is always better than the VOD. Vader pays less for VODs. Vader pays less for VODs? I don't know what that means. Ghost. David Brunfeld looks over at my diploma from the University of Delusion. That is good enough, right? The University of Delusion? Yeah. Again, I mean, like, if anybody is, trying to, take a stance on, well, I think Kris is kind of a nutbag. Again, making that kind of assessment, I am going to want to see some credentials, because, Aaron Seach, I'm probably the only person here that has not watched any of the Marvel movies. If it is considered a Marvel movie, The Punisher Warzone was pretty damn good. Best Punisher movie by far. Really. I have not seen Warzone. I was very reluctant to watch that one. Did you watch the Netflix Punisher? I thought that was pretty good. I like Berthol. But I also have watched the Dolph Lundgren one, the Thomas Jane one. The Thomas Jane one's not horrible compared to the Dolph Lundgren one. Dolph Lundgren one's very, very dark and just kind of, I don't know. It was at the high point, I think, of Dolph Lundgren when that one came out, and I don't know. But I haven't watched Warzone, and I honestly I'm not in a big rush to watch it because it just didn't look very interesting. And the Netflix series, The Punisher, I thought was pretty good. It kind of drags on a bit, and there's kind of a couple points where I was kind of, well, did we really need this? And I think they like when they bring out those series and they kind of telling this story. Some of the episodes seem to be kind of padding to give you like a 10 show run kind of thing, and I think that's kind of BS. Just some of them, because I mean, like, geez, does anybody watch Iron Fist? Iron Fist, man, that was a shit show right from the start. I think it was that entire show was a mistake, and because Iron Fist was such a weak show, it ruined Defenders, and yet Defenders was all about, like, this was about the Iron Fist story arc, and it was kind of blah. Yeah, I had a hard time with Defenders. Daredevil, enjoyed every season of it. Jessica Jones, enjoyed every season of it. Cage, enjoyed that one. Although that last season though was kind of, but but yeah, Iron Fist not so much. Defenders, not so much. Punisher was good though. I enjoyed Punisher. Anyway. Dark Commission. I've never watched any either. Any what? Any Marvel movies? You've never watched any of them? No? Are you into movies? Are you into superheroes? Go Star Man looks. VOD is video on demand. Right, but I didn't get the Vader pays less for VODs. I don't get that. Vader pays less for VODs. I don't get what that means. Evan Flow, sup everybody? Sup Evan Flow? So yeah, I initially was. I was thinking that I wasn't going to do the show today because there is a little thing I have to do for Dan, Max Aggression, and I wasn't sure if I was going to have time for the show today. And so I was kind of, I don't know. But it turns out I did. And so, but the thing is, though, is the show cannot run as long. Sorry, I'm checking out some stuff here. I'm seeing if I missed anything for today, as far as, you know, news from the GW side of things. So the show's not going to run too long today. I'm going to try and end it at the 2-hour mark. And I only have a few emails. How many emails do I have? Oh, I've only got one. I've only got one. Okay, good. We're going to keep it that way. I'm not reading anymore. No, I'm just kidding. If you send the email, I'm sure I'll read it. Yeah, this is just all the stuff from the big preview. The preview. Sorry, I'm looking at at the Oogers. They are fun. And fun is fun. I do like them. And there's like all sorts of ways you can go about painting these dudes. 50 bones. Industrial Servitor Ogrins. Yeah. You can have some fun painting these guys. Definitely. Of course, some Blood Bowl. Some Snatlings. I like these guys. These are fun. I like the little mushroom tokens. That's cool. Let's go. Snotlings are just too damn cute. And, you know, I know we've talked about in the past, you know, plushies and, you know, crap like that. Snotlings. Why don't we have Snotling plushies? Why isn't that a thing? I would buy 100 of them. Nurglings, 100 of them. Snotlings. Okay, well, if I bought 100 Snotlings, I mean, I wouldn't buy 100 Nurglings. But I'd buy a bunch. I would buy a bunch. Whole bunch. You know? And I'm kind of surprised that nobody's really jumped on that yet. You know, because, I mean, it seems like GW is willing to license out the IP to pretty much anybody who, you know, wants it. And, you know, I'm kind of surprised that, because if I've already thought of the idea, you know, I'm sure somebody else, 10 other people have thought of it as well. And, you know, and I'm surprised that they haven't popped up yet. Plush Nurglings or plush Snotlings, you know, any of the cute little familiar characters, you know what I mean? Like, anything cute turn into a plushie, right? So, like a plush Ripper, right? From Tyranid Ripper Swarms, like a Ripper. One of those plush. Come on. That'd be fun. What are we talking about here? Dark Emission, old sci-fi and westerns for me. So no new sci-fi. So you're not excited for the new Dune? You're not excited for Dune? I'm excited for Dune. The trailer is supposed to drop soon. Kind of excited to see some more, you know, actual shots from the film. You know, I'm excited. And I'm excited about, you know, who is helming it, you know. I'm excited for it. Unless, of course, you see the trailer and you go, ugh, it looks like crap. Aaron Seach, Warzone is the most accurate to the comic character. He is much more ruthless and cold-blooded than the other two films. Yeah, I know. I've heard that one, and I've only ever read Punisher versus Wolverine. I never read the Punisher comics. Again, I was more X-Men. So, and yeah, and the actor who plays Punisher, yeah, I don't know. I just meh. Dark Emission, mind you, I did like the new Dredd film. Yeah, the new Dredd film was good. The old one was Stallone. is more like the comic book in appearance, brought to life, you know. Yeah, it's kind of too bad that they didn't go further with it. But I think realistically, like, the way they went about with Dredd and the whole vibe of it all, they gave it a more realistic spin, right? And at the time it was made, everybody's pushing for this realism. And I think we're going to see a big resurgence of wanting to see translations of the comic books brought to screen. Not so much looking like, you know, direct rip from the page, but more truer to the source material rather than, you know, diverging, right? Especially in aesthetics. But mind you, though, I enjoyed Dredd. That Ninja Zerker? Thank you for following, buddy. Can't even see it, just a big splat on the screen. I've been meaning to change the audio. I have that monkey going, you know, but I've been meaning, because it's like a little splat, I've been meaning to make a little, you know, just for giggles, you know, just because it puts a smile on my face. But thank you, Ninja Zerker. That Ninja Zerker. Can't remember where I was going with this. Oh, Judge Dredd, right. And, you know, with Judge Dredd, I mean, like, I liked it. I enjoyed Karl Urban as Judge Dredd. And that was a lot of fun. But I wanted to see things like the ABC robot. I wanted to see, you know, the Wasteland. And, you know what I mean? Like, I wanted to see all these other things. And, yeah. And I wanted to see more of a glimpse of what the world is like, and there wasn't enough world building, I suppose, in it. It was just really just, you know, the block, right? So, oh well, what are you gonna do, right? David Brunfeld, over and under of 2 hours. I'll take 2+ here. Oh, we're taking bets now. We're taking bets. Really, we're taking bets. Goes to Starman. Someone mentioned that they didn't get to catch the show live too often, and you made a joke about them being a bounty hunter. So OFC, since a dead target is worth less, and VOD must be worth less too. See, that was a lot of. I was like, whew, right over. You're Ghost. I'm thinking that you're probably too smart to be watching this show. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking you're probably too smart to be watching me. In fact, I know for a fact your IQ, for a fact, pulling this fact right out of my ass, I know for a fact your IQ is dropping every syllable that comes out of my mouth that is going into your ears. Your IQ is dropping by like 1/10 of a percentile, and it's just, yeah. And by the end, you're just going to be drooling and. Ghost Starman looks. Nurglings are better than Snotlings. Fight me. Nurglings are better than Snotlings? As a plushie? Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Because, like, Snotlings are stringy looking. Like, they're gangly looking little things, right? Whereas Nurglings are kind of plump little buggers, right? And, you know, like you can see yourself sitting there hugging a little plushy Nurgling, you know, while you're sitting there watching your favorite shows, or, you know, I don't know. If I had a plush Nurgling, I would never let it go. Hell, I bought a plush, crap, I can't remember what these little buggers are called now, from War Machine. Well, yeah, from War Machine. They're Scorn. They're the little, what the hell's he called? It's on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, and Privateer Press, they made plushies. Now, mind you, they didn't really, take off as far as I can tell. But I mean, that's anecdotal. And, but I imagine with 40K, I mean, like, you know, 40K is far more widespread than War Machine was, and that was created back when, you know, they were still riding a pretty high peak, and yeah. But anyway, what are you gonna do? Knit Fink. I want a plush squig. Plush squig. That's another excellent one. Yeah, plush squig. Oh, man. And I mean, like, there's a bazillion different directions you can go with all these little plushie ideas, right? A bazillion different ways you can go. I'm not going to share them with you because, you know, somebody's just going to make a bunch of money off my ideas. Joe K. Dread was very, very good. It's a pity it didn't have success. Well, you know. It's also the material, right? And it's like, for example, you know how like everybody wants a 40K movie to happen, right? And I don't see a 40K movie doing very well. For the reason it's a very niche type of thing. And so I don't see it doing very well, which is probably why it has never been made. I'm sure people have shopped the idea around, but I'm sure, because to do it justice, it's a very special effects driven IP, right? I mean, you know, it's like any sci-fi, unless of course you tone it down or you change it, right? Like, for example, the first thing I always think of when something that should be really, really awesome on the big screen and in live action, and you know, but it completely fails because because budget constraints and, you know, and of course the technology at the time. But the first thing I think of is He-Man, Masters of the Universe, the one with Dolph Lundgren way back in the day. That one should have kicked ass. Dolph Lundgren as He-Man, come on, he is He-Man. Well, back in the day, he was He-Man, and yeah, they brought it so that whole universe was on our planet, and a lot of the story was, you know, a lot of the filler of the film, of the story, was being told, you know, here, He-Man comes to our world, and it's kind of, you know what I mean, like, that kind of thing, especially like scenes like Skeletor driving down the street on his big Jabba barge, and, you know what I mean, like, it's just, come on, you know, like, they could have done so much more with something like that. And 40K, a movie, live action film, it definitely has to have the budget behind it. And yeah, because otherwise it's just gonna suck. And the thing is that, you know, they're gonna, because it would require a large special effects budget, that, and you definitely have to throw some, you know, brand names into the film as well, just to attract people's attention that, oh, you know, yeah, Tom Cruise is in Warhammer 40,000, that's cool, right? You'd have to throw some names at it. And so that budget keeps going up and up and up and up. And the thing is it probably would tank. It most likely would tank, because so many people are not that familiar with it. And also, the subject matter itself, you know, and of course, what kind of story is it going to tell, you know? How is it going to tell the story of, you know, like, getting people into Warhammer 40,000? I've mentioned this one in the past many times, that if they ever did a Warhammer 40,000 film, the best one that would be it would touch on everything, is Inquisitor by Ian Watson. That would, in my opinion, if they've developed a screenplay off that story, that would be something every 40K fan would love, and would give people who are not that familiar with the universe a broad stroke of everything. And then that way it's kind of an introduction into, you know, the universe. And yeah, Inquisitor, if you've not read that story, Inquisitor, when it was originally released, it was just one book, Inquisitor. When it got reprinted, like, damn near 20 years ago, probably 20 years ago, they broke it up into 3 books. It was Inquisitor, what is it? Inquisitor, Harlequin, and Chaos Child. They broke it up into 3 books, but it was one book before, but then 3 books, right? So that story, that would make an awesome 40K film, because reading that, you could just see all the massive scale of everything, and, you know, and of course the characters, because it's this little war band of guys, this Inquisitor with his little retinue, and, you know, they're on an adventure, and it'd be kind of a Lord of the Rings adventure, but not so much walking. Ghost Star Man Deluxe, here's an idea. Nurglings riding squigs. Yes. Old Man Logan, nothing quite captures dread than Stallone barking, "I am the law." Out of the corner of his mouth. But the thing is, though, is Sylvester Stallone, okay, just that part of his face was perfect for translating the comic book dread. And what you see, that gnarly bottom lip hanging, and you know what I mean? Like, and just, that looked like Judge Dredd, right from the comics. Yeah? I am the law. I'm going to get a letter from Stallone. Quit imitating me poorly. If you're going to imitate me, do it properly. Learn to do it well. Dark Commission. Check out Judge Minty on YouTube. It's a fan-made but professional quality. They also made a Strontium Dog film. Interesting. Evan Belleau, Kris. There's a video that the director made breaking down the reasons why Dredd sequel is unlikely due to the way movie properties are sold internationally. Interesting. Old Man Logan. Yes, I'm being sarcastic. I wasn't. I mean, like, other than the way Stallone talks, like, if you could redub it with, I don't know, a not so incoherent voice, yeah, I think. But he had the look, like, and Karl Urban does too. But that one fit more and with that style, you know, because the take on in that movie was more of a realistic kind of future Judge Dredd. Like, it looks like that's where we're heading, right? With that Judge Dredd story, whereas the Stallone Judge Dredd was like, here's the comic book, here's the movie, you know what I mean? And, you know, yeah. But anyway. Joe K. It's ironic that Judge Dredd in its time was considered anti-establishment satire, but now it would be considered to be a PC culture as a promotional of totalitarianism. Yeah. But there's a lot of people in this world who don't get sarcasm. I'm a very sarcastic individual, and when I used to live in Memphis, a lot of people didn't get my sense of humor. I'm not saying people in the South don't get sarcasm. I'm just saying that, you know, where I was from, different environment, because where I'm from, sarcasm is pretty rampant. But even like right now, where I'm here in Southern Ontario, like, yeah, there's a lot of people around me that don't get sarcasm. Some people just don't get it. You know what I mean? Like, you know. And I think that's what it is. And because everybody's so sensitive these days, you know, when somebody's being sarcastic and you know, somebody's getting upset, and then of course somebody who has a bit of a mean streak, who's a troll, they keep pushing the idea, and it just provokes people further and further and further. And of course, everything about the internet these days is all about provoking a reaction. Why? Because it gets views. It gets views, right? Because it pisses you off, and you're going to sit there and and then you're going to share it, and you're going to talk about it, and you're going to thumb up it, and you're going to down thumb it, you're going to, you know what I mean? And all these things. And, you know, we went from the age of information to the age of controversy. But controversy is not a bad word. It gets used as a bad word, but it's not a bad word. I'm trying to think, but we left the information age because nobody cares about information. Nobody cares about it. Nobody, like me personally, how I use the internet, how I use YouTube and all these things. I use social media from the perspective of a business. Okay, so it's promotional. So that's the only way I regard social media stuff. Which is why if you follow me on Facebook, Instagrams, Twitter, and all that, it's mainly just me promoting things I'm up to. And that's it. It's not really personal. My Facebook, my personal Facebook, I'm thinking of deleting it. But then it might affect the Way of the Brush Facebook page, which honestly, I might delete anyway. I might just delete Facebook anyway. Yeah, it's Facebook is just, not that it's become an environment of toxicity, because I mean, if any of you Twitter users, that's some toxic shit right there. Twitter's very toxic, and everybody's very toxic to each other, and it's just, man, it's amazing. Instagram's all right, even though it's owned by Facebook, but Instagram, I still consider that a promotional thing, and it's just post a picture, right? Post a picture. And with what I do, my field, it's very visual, so just sharing pictures of models and what I'm working on, or goofy crap, or whatever, right? And that's what it's about. Facebook used to be the kind of thing that would drive viewers to, say, your website. I don't find that anymore, especially when looking at like analytics. Even though viewership and stuff is going up for my Facebook, it's not translating into other views other than within Facebook, and that's not going to help me grow. And also, it seems like Facebook is a certain demographic of people. Mind you, it's the demographic that mostly supports me, so it's the only reason why I keep it. But people who follow my personal, like, I know there's people who follow my personal Facebook page, and I don't really post a lot of personal stuff, and a lot of times with Facebook, I'm just using that just to kind of stay in touch with family. But I'm even considering telling my family to get off Facebook. Just get off it. It's toxic, and it's not helping anybody. I'm not saying go to other social media platforms either. I'm just telling them that if they want to stay in touch with me, just fucking email me, right? So or give me a call, right? Get my cell, give me a call, But yeah. Dan 12222, hey, how everyone doing? And Kris, what you been up to? Anything nice? I'm always up to anything nice, man. I'm always trying to be nice. Usually devolves into me becoming an asshole, but I'm usually trying to be nice. I'm trying to be nice, but I keep encountering people who just piss me off and are just morons. I'm surrounded by morons, and I'm sure many of you out there feel that way as well, because for whatever reason, like-minded individuals, and we are a small collection. We're a very small group. Go Starman. Snotlings would be better as Stretch Armstrong type thing. Yeah, Snotlings is Stretch Arm. Yeah. Or like, you remember, like, I don't know if you're kind of a young fellow, but there used to be the WWF action figures. They were like these big, they were basically just one cast rubber figures. And the one thing that they marketed them was that they could bounce. So like you could kind of like when you're playing quarters and you're getting quarters into a cup kind of thing, you bounce the wrestler and he go flying, and you can make them bang into each other, and it was wrestling, right? So anyway, yeah, I never bought it. I never had any wrestlers. I was into wrestling when I was younger, but I didn't have any wrestlers. Wasn't that into it. Ghost Star Deluxe, no time for gaining IQ, busy watching Way the Brush. Joe K, to be fair, they never had the money for real He-Man sci-fi fantasy movie. The production company was running on fumes, right? And again, to tell a story like He-Man, yeah. And I got excited when there was rumors that a new He-Man was coming out, like a live action, and like it had like a very horror like aspect to it. Skeletor looked scary as shit. Yeah, like I was like, oh man, this is gonna be cool. It looked dark and gritty, and it was a different take on it. And having said that, I was getting tired of the realistic, dark kind of vibes. From judging from the artwork, it looked really, really cool. And I mean, like something done right and it looks cool, I'm on board. Yeah, even if it's well trodden ground and genre, and you know what I mean. But if it looks cool, I mean, and it you get some decent talent behind it, and you tell a compelling story, I mean, you got yourself a winner. Unfortunately, it's hard to convince studios to take chances on that, and that's why you always get these rehashes and these reboots and franchises and stuff like that, because they're safe bets. That's why. Because nobody goes to the art films, nobody goes to the unique films, right? Nobody goes. So realistically, I mean, the reason why cinema is so mediocre with so many mediocre Marvel films, it's you people. Yeah, I'm blaming you. You people. What do you mean, you people? Yeah, it's you people. You enable these companies to do it. If you want companies like Marvel and stuff to stop making crap movies, stop watching their crap movies. Stop interacting with them. Stop talking about them. Stop anything. They don't exist. Pretty simple. Dan1222, do you think Mandalorian Season 2 will be a letdown because of how good the first one was? Also, do you think they could make a movie of the Mandalorian? I don't think Mandalorian needs a movie. I don't think so. I think having these stories being told, Mandalorian, it's not a compelling, groundbreaking type of storytelling. It follows very closely to what George Lucas laid out as far as telling Star Wars and the inspiration that draws that Star Wars draws from, and Mandalorian is well within that. And the beauty is that because Mandalorian is somebody that we don't see, that almost any actor can play him, right? That even as the Mandalorian gets older, the actor, right, he can still play the role. And because of the nature of the MacGuffin, which is the child, because it's a doll, and because in the story he's the Yoda creature, he's a Yoda species. I don't even know what the Yoda species is called, and because of the long age lifespan of them, that he's going to be a child for many, many seasons, right? Like, you can go 5 years and still not even reach being a toddler, right? So they can milk that combination for a long time. Where the second season goes, well, the way it ends, I mean, if anybody is not familiar with Mandalorian, watch Mandalorian. It's a good show. If you love Star Wars. If you're not into Star Wars, it's still a fun show. It's a space western, which is kind of what the original A New Hope was kind of like. And really, I mean, like, I equate Mandalorian, it's kung fu. If anybody used to watch Kung Fu, David Carradine, yeah, it's kung fu. And again, Mandalorian could be played by any actor, or even as the actor gets older, doesn't matter. They can still play it. The child, that doll, that puppet, they can use that puppet for many, many years, and it makes sense. That dynamic doesn't change. It's a bit like Simpsons. Simpsons been on for 30 years, and Bart's still a 10-year-old kid. Right? And the thing is that The Simpsons has never once felt the need to alter the time, because it's a cartoon. Doesn't matter, right? And Mandalorian should be viewed in that same lens. Sci-fi. Doesn't matter. So, well, by the 6th season, the child should at least be more like no, fuck off with that, okay? Because it's made up. It's made up bullshit. So anything can happen. Just like Warhammer 40,000. It's made up bullshit. Anything can happen. Well, if you technically no, fuck off. It's made up bullshit. But anyway, yeah. So, but I enjoy Mandalorian, and for season 2, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm curious as to where they go. The way it ends, I mean, it's wide open, right? And the universe is, they're a clan of 2, and they can go anywhere, have any adventure, visit any of the established Star Wars backgrounds, and people will go nuts for it. And he can go back to bounty hunting, being a regular bounty hunter, because he's cleared, right? So he can go back to being a bounty hunter again, and we can see him doing bounty hunter badass things like that, right? The child develops as a force wielder, right? And of course, the rumors being that Ahsoka is going to make an appearance, and I look forward to that. That's going to be fun. Because apparently the rumors is that that's going to lead into an Ahsoka spin-off type show, which would be cool. I'm not sure, if it needs it. What they're going to tell. Like, are they going to tell the story before she becomes a Jedi Padawan? Or are they going to tell the story of, when she disappears and, when she takes off to look for Ezra? Right? Or is it after, after the fall, Rise of Skywalker, right? I mean, there's all sorts of places they could go with that. It's all sorts of places. VJ 1985. Hey, I know this is kind of out there question, but is anyone else painting Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid? Is anybody painting that? Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid? No, I didn't even heard that. I'm not familiar with that. Is it like a miniatures game? Power Rangers? Really? Interesting. Ghost Starman, a 40k TV show of guardsmen versus Necrons from the Necron perspective. Just lower level ones too. No cryptex or anything. So no dialogue whatsoever. Yeah, just Necrons just shambling about. Yeah, see, that'd be kind of boring, right? And then, of course, if the Necron warriors had too much personality, then it's kind of, I don't know. Now, having a show, like a movie or a show about the guardsmen, sure. Right? Because, you can have a movie about the guardsmen fighting, say, Tyranids, where it's just, the monsters attacking them, and, But then, that's Starship Troopers, right? So, again, where do you go with 40K that isn't already kind of been done? Especially since 40K is so inspired by so many sci-fi legacies. Dune, Foundation, well, even Star Wars, right? Star Wars is inspired by so many other things that came before it, right? And 40K is the same thing. And with 40K, it is kind of interesting that, like somebody was talking about how, the culture of, it would be viewed as, endorsing, and of course, with 40K, fascism and totalitarianism is a big factor within 40K. Many people would say that, it does glorify that, right? Because why? Well, because Space Marines are the poster child for Warhammer 40,000, which again, you've heard me say it many times, I think is a mistake. It should be the Imperial Guard, just because they're more of the everyman, right? Space Marines technically should be harder to identify with, technically, and Primarchs should be completely alien. Trying to understand a Primarch would be, especially if you're up on the current way of the current thinking on how evolution and comprehension and thought patterns and how we evolve, right? Like today, could you imagine trying to have a conversation with someone from 5,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, 40,000 years ago? You couldn't. You would have the most rudimentary of conversations. You most likely would run into a misunderstanding, and you would end up in a conflict. And that big Neanderthal probably would manhandle you. Sure, you'd be a lot smarter, but that Neanderthal is going to most likely manhandle you. And a Primarch, the way they would think would be completely alien. You would not understand them. They would just, the way they would think about things, the way, because again, their brain capacity would just be so much greater, right? And then a Space Marine would be beyond a human. They come from humans, so they would have that capacity to kind of, empathize. But can Space Marines
Can Space Marines empathize?
Right? again, if you look at these things very logically, if you start breaking them down and go realistically, well, if they would do this and do this, that's why it's complete made up bullshit, and that's why you shouldn't get too hung up on all these things, because it's just made up bullshit. And, you know, the lore can change at any point. They can retcon it, they can change it, edit it, whatever. It's theirs. They can do it. And they're well within their right to do it. If you get pissed off, big whoop. Where am I? Aaron Siege, Thundercats movie, long overdue. Yes, the Thundercat movie would be cool. But what do you want to see? A realistic take on Thundercats? Or do you want to see the animated series brought to live action? Think about it. Right? Evan Belleau, episode 311, By the Power of Numb-Skull. Love it. I love it. We're doing that one. That's today's show. By the Power of Numb-Skull. Because there's too many fucking Numb-Skulls out there. I love it. That's gonna be. I'm gonna be giggling about that one all day, Ab. All day. I'm gonna be giggling about that. By the Power of Numb-Skull. Yeah, I love it. It's a good one. That's a good one. That one brought that brought a smile to my face. By the power of Numb-Skull. Where's my sword? I need my sword. By the power of Anyway, Jabba's Left Nut. Sometimes they get it right with a reboot. Aladdin is much better than the original. I know, Jabba, you're trying to provoke me. I know you're trying to provoke me. You're not gonna do it. You're not gonna do it, buddy. You're not poking this bear. You're not poking this bear. And not that kind of bear, but that kind of bear. Joe K. Mandalorian was pretty mediocre, but compared to the gray pulp of the new Star Wars movies, it's a masterpiece. I enjoyed Mandalorian. Mediocre, if you're judging it on telling a compelling story and stuff like that, sure, right? Being innovative, sure. I can agree that it's not groundbreaking as far as telling a compelling story where we're really invested in the characters. It does play a lot to the nostalgia of so many Star Wars fans. I've said it many times that The Mandalorian is what any fan of the original trilogy, of what any fan of who loved that's what this is what they were waiting for, and I still stand by that. It's, if you love the original trilogy, that's who that series is for. It's for those people who just loved it and was in love with that universe that was created there. That's who loves Mandalorian. But I agree, yeah, like there's nothing groundbreaking about Mandalorian other than the technical aspects. But I mean, that doesn't really matter. And it was enough for me to, buy a subscription to Disney Plus, just so I can get Mandalorian. It's the only reason I bought Disney Plus. Mind you, though, the behind-the-scenes stuff, it's Disney Gallery, and it talks, it's like 8 episodes of behind-the-scenes for Mandalorian. Fascinating. Good stuff. I thoroughly enjoyed that. That was really good. I'm not reading any of those Aladdin comments. You guys can go piss off. Dan122222, do you think they could do a TV series of Warhammer 40K and base it on the leader of one of the armies? Again, it would have to be a huge series. Like, could you imagine? I think, like, if they were to do like a big budget mini series, or even series like kind of Game of Thrones about the Horus Heresy leading up to, and tell like a 5-year story arc of, but again, anybody who's read the books, right? I mean, like, they're very familiar with it, and I'm sure there'd be tons of teeth gnashing and stuff like that. Like, everybody wants it, but it's always that be careful what you wish for kind of thing. right? With any of these things. So, it would be cool, but I think if you're going to go with within the franchise of something and develop a, movie or live action show or TV show or miniseries, it should always take something that's really great about that universe and expand upon it. Don't give us the established stories, right? Don't give us, the novels about Luke Skywalker. Give us, an unknown apprentice or the child of, or, you know what I mean? Something that wasn't really expanded upon. Give us that. And that way it can still incorporate elements from what people really, really enjoyed and what people really kind of hold precious. But again, it's completely made up bullshit, and people are very precious about it, and I'm not sure why or what that is. I have it too. I'm not saying I'm immune to it, but yeah, I don't know what that is. What is that called? There's got to be a word for it. Come on, you psychology majors, where are you? Again, I want to see credentials though. Joe K, the universe is too messianic to allow the development of the story that goes beyond the kiddie story with bad versus evil. Bad versus evil? Yeah, like with Warhammer 40,000, yeah, telling the story, right? It's kind of like, the Judge Dredd thing, right? Where it's a satire, right? And because Warhammer 40,000, and that's what it initially was. It was making fun of all this stuff, fascism and totalitarianism and authoritarianism and what I mean, like all these isms, and it didn't paint it in a positive light. It was more of a like, this is the kind of bullshit we're going to head towards if we don't stop this kind of crap, right? And then somewhere down the line, it flip-flopped. It flip-flopped and stopped being satire, and it became some would argue a fucking blueprint. So, and of course, because somewhere along the line, I think that flip-flop, that's when you had people who thought that stuff was good, who think fascism and stuff like that are good or are necessary, right? That's when those people really started to get into it. Because when I was young, no, a lot of the finer points of the political aspects of stuff, I was kind of a little too young to get. It was still more bang bang Star Wars type of thing for me. But then as I developed into the hobby and developed into the world of Warhammer 40,000 and got into it all and saw the parodies as I read more, yeah, and that's what it became. And I mean, realistically, all you really need to do is read Dune. I want to read Foundation. I've never read Foundation, but read Dune, and you'll really get Warhammer 40,000. It borrows so much, but apparently Warhammer 40,000 really borrows a lot from Foundation, because apparently Dune borrows a lot from Foundation. So yeah. Heretic Scott, hey peeps, hey. Ghost is Iran Deluxe. How to communicate with ancient people? Point at boobs and give thumbs up. Right, but okay. Think about it for a second, okay? You as a modern Homo sapien talking to Neanderthal or Cro-Magnon, right? Or even Homo sapien. Well, Homo sapien you probably still communicate pretty good with, but let's say Cro-Magnon, and you point to the chest and it went thumbs up. That to me, you like that action of pointing at the person and then smiling, because in some cultures, even today, smiling with teeth and smiling without teeth, there's a cultural difference. So even think what 40,000 years ago, that kind of misunderstanding, yeah, that guy's gonna throttle you. And guaranteed that Cro-Magnon man, yeah, he guaranteed those hands will just, you will be mangled. You'll be mangled. I'm sure of it. Ghost Star Alex, I'm fine with Thundercats movie as long as they don't look like people from Cats. You're going to end up... How are you going to translate how are you going to understand visually that they're cat people? Just give them pointy ears with a little bit of whiskers? Then people are going to go, well, it's too downplayed. They went to blah, blah. You know what I mean? Like, you're never going to win. You're never going to win. And, choices are going to be made. Because so many people have built these things up in their brains, and because of auxiliary type source material, people who have been into the graphic novels and the comic books, and and know about this and that, and they're all about the behind the thing, and then whatever they bring out, it's going to be garbage compared to that. It's just like Star Wars, right? It's like all the previous novels and everything like that. Now, mind you, I mean, like 7, 8, 9, I think they should have stuck with the storyline of Luke Skywalker. I think I might be having a stroke. Luke Skywalker. It should have stayed with Luke Skywalker and Leia. Those movies should have stuck with them and told their story. Right? Because oftentimes the whole expansive Star Wars 9-part series is called the Skywalker Saga. Right? Because part 1 to 3 is the fall of Anakin. 4, 5, and 6 is about the redemption of Anakin. And then 7, 8, 9 should have been about the consequences of Anakin. Right? And the life after. That's the way it should have went. I think, anyway. And okay, I meant good versus evil. Bad versus evil? No, you were right the first time with 40K. The 40K universe, the bad versus evil. Yeah, that's what 40K is. 40K is bad versus evil. It's more of the lesser of two evils, really. Now, if one was to play within that realm of the lesser of two evils and makes that playfully clear, then there's again room for social commentary and satire, which good sci-fi is always full of that. Good sci-fi is always full of that. Social commentary, satire. Shines a light on social issues. All good satire, all good sci-fi does that. You might have been thinking it was spaceships and laser bolts, but no, it was a deeper meaning behind things. Rogel Sean, I'm not saying there aren't decent adaptations, but I never really understood why fans need franchises, i.e. books, games, comics, etc., translated into Hollywood films. Yeah, it's a childhood fantasy, right? I want to see my G.I. Joes brought to live the big screen, right? Why is it there this fascination with bringing source material to live action? Why is it always live action? Why can't we ever be happy with 2D animated, or even now computer generated animated, right? CGI. Why can't we just? Well, I mean, we all saw Space Marine, so or no, Ultramarine. Was it called Ultramarine? Yeah, it was called Ultramarine. Yeah. A little bit left to be desired in that one. Again, with a CG platform, I mean, like, I don't understand why, these stories, like, they can't get told. Especially when you get Ultramarine. Ultramarine? It was called Ultramarine, right? It had freaking Terrence Stamp in it. That should have been gold. Shouldn't have been, right? Like, even the video game Space Marine tells a better story than that. I don't know. I just don't know. Where am I? David Brunfeld. Oops. Kris does not believe in psych degree from the University of Delusion. If you would have said Duluth, I might have believed you. Dan1222. Do you think because they destroyed the World of Warcraft movie, they scared to touch on things like 40K? No, because from what I understand, Warcraft, it did not do well here in North America, but from what I understand, in the Asian market, it was huge. It was very popular in China and Korea. from what I understand, Warcraft the movie, yeah, it was. And I mean, I didn't think Warcraft the movie was bad. I thought that the story from the orcs' perspective, I thought was great, and I found that performance far more compelling than the human actors. The human actors, it all looked like cosplay to me, versus the really good CGI that was going on with the orc story stuff. I could have just watched that whole thing in CGI. And if you've watched The Hobbit, you've watched an entire CGI movie, so why can't we just get these, an epic film done very, very well with a good story, right? Just done entirely in CGI with really good voice actors. I don't understand what the problem is. Why does it got to be a live action film, right? Why? This biasy against animated. It's not real cinema. I don't know. So much now is CGI that, I don't really see the difference. And yeah. But I personally, I thought Warcraft wasn't terrible. Was it a great film? No. But I thought the orc perspective and the story on the orc side of things was far more compelling than what was going on with the humans. And I thought the human side of the story was bland. The orc side of things was very, very interesting. I could watch the whole movie about the struggles of the orcs. That was far more interesting to me. Grimm Foundation is a fun series. My brother had me read it long ago. Yeah. I've been reading. I've been looking into reading more Isaac. Ghost of Starman Deluxe. Wait a minute. Did Kris call me Homo sapien? Am I being called gay? No. Technically, that's what we're known by. Homo sapien. That's the modern human. Homo sapien. No, I don't have a stutter. Dan 122222. Who do you think will be good at playing the new Black Panther? Oh man, I was talking about that earlier. I have no idea. Because who do you get? Somebody established, right? Do you find somebody who's established today? Who would have to be young? Who's a young guy? Or even not, doesn't even have to be young. Could be mature by the time we're telling new stories. Or are we even going to look at like a reboot? Well, they'll even just reboot everything and just tell the story all over again. Which, I mean, would not shock me. And, they could. Because, I mean, like, the stories have been rebooted so many times in the comics, right? Especially, like, X-Men. X-Men's been rebooted so many times. Is it Homo sapien sapien? I thought it was Homo sapien. Is it Homo sapien sapien? Okay, well, I had it backwards then. Inquisitor. People build up the story in their head and expect every film to be Gone with the Wind. Willing suspension of disbelief would be a good principle to engage going into most of new shows and movies. Sure. Social commentary and something cute. Astartes was good. Astartes, right? Now, why was Astartes so good? And I'm genuinely looking forward to more of what that guy is offering. And even the guys who are doing who knows what the team is, but anyway, the ones doing Exodite. If you're not familiar with that one, I think I shared it a while ago. Exodite. That one looks like it's gonna be fun too. I thought the voice acting was really good in Exodite. Just on that little teaser, I thought that was really good. I liked how they brought life to the Tau language. It almost sounds like Klingon, of course, but it's fun. It's still fun. Astartes. Like, why was Astartes so compelling? Because it's a complete mystery as to what the hell's going on. We're very fans of Warhammer 40,000 can fill in the gaps pretty easily, but even somebody who's not that familiar with Warhammer 40,000 can get drawn in because we immediately are the visuals of what's going on, right? We know that we're in some sort of craft, that the Marines are loading up. We know those guys are gigantic men because we see other normal humans running past them, and we know that they're gigantic and they're well armored and there's some sort of super soldier. and they're going into battle, and then they launch, and then we know that they're crashing into the ship, and then immediately we're told visually how lethal these guys are and how powerful they are, because immediately they bust into a ship. They're met immediately by a platoon of soldiers, and they come out of the smoke and massacre these guys easily, and with bullets ricocheting off their armor and everything like that. And then immediately they're on a mission, and they're just tracking through this ship to their destination unstoppably. And we know that Space Marines are this, in the lore, they're described this way all the time, that these guys are just unstoppable. The game doesn't reflect it. Anybody who's familiar playing with the game knows that the game does not reflect that lethality that is often told in the stories, right? Which is a shame, but, whatever. It's a game. It's a game. You have to have, pieces removed because reasons. Because that's the way a game works, right? So, Astartes, also, because anybody who's very familiar with Warhammer 40,000 lore, there's lots of things going on there that we're very familiar with, that we can fill in the gaps within the story. And there's barely any dialogue in it. I don't think is there any dialogue? I don't even know if there's dialogue, other than grunting sounds and voices and things like that. But there's not really any voices. Oh, other than when the warp entity, if it's a demon or if it's an enslaver. I've heard that one, that the tentacle thing, it's an enslaver, and I thought that was really cool, because that's Rogue Trader shit. That's old school lore for your ass, essentially. That's old school for your ass, and I like that interpretation. And I look forward to more from them, because the animation, the visuals, the style, I dig it all. And it's that, I could watch a 2-hour feature of that. And it looks very cool. I'm excited. Man, I don't know where the hell I am. Documentation. I like the paint on film effect in Keanu Reeves' film, Philip Dick's Scanner Darkly. Yeah. Or shall I rephrase that? Favorite Dick book? The favorite Dick? Yeah. It was a visual style, right? And I mean, realistically, telling that kind of story, it probably had to be told that way, which is why the person who took on that project did it that way, right? I think good pieces just will stand the test of time, and yeah. Dan1222, do you think Idris Elba would make a good Black Panther? I think as an older Black Panther, if you were telling stories of an older Black Panther, sure. But I mean, Idris Elba, he's a great actor. I'm a fan of Idris, and I even watched Dark Tower. I thought he was pretty good in that one. Is him as Black Panther? I don't know. I think they're more likely to find somebody up and coming, or completely new, who just kind of embodies that strength of character, right? Who presents that kind of nobility forward, right? Who's also, because Black Panther, you have to find somebody who can portray the actual actor doesn't have to actually be those qualities. It's acting, so they can portray it, right? And they have to kind of portray a person who is an authority, so who's kind of a kingly figure, but also is humble, so that they're likable, right? Those are the qualities that you're looking for in that character, not in the actor. The actor just has to portray it. A good actor will be able to do that, and yeah. And of course, you have to find some actor who's, obviously a good-looking person, right? Because nobody's going to tune in for a Black Panther who kind of fugly looking, right? You're not going to sit there and tune in for, a guy who's, teeth are all awry and cockeyed, and it's just, you're just, and bad skin, right? You're just not going to tune in for that, right? You're not going to buy into that Black Panther. You're just going to be like, oh no. So yeah, you're going to want a good looking guy there. I think that goes without saying. Of course, yeah, Idris Elba. I mean, yeah, he immediately falls within that category. I mean, when the rumor was is that he was going to be the next James Bond, I was on board for that. I was on board. Yeah, why not? Him as James Bond. I'm in. I like Idris Elba. Yeah. Where the hell am I? Old Man Logan. An old school for your ass. An old school for your ass. Yeah, old school for your ass, yeah. Dark Commission. Idris Elba is a pretty good DJ too. Is he? I don't know. I've heard that one, but yeah. I've seen some interviews with him. I watched the Hot Ones interview with him. And he seems like a pretty down-to-earth kind of guy. Appears. I mean, you don't know until you actually meet the person, right? But of course, you know, I do stand by never meet your heroes. So, and even with me, any of you out there who've never met me, you probably don't want to meet me. Please don't, because it'll completely ruin your expectations. Because you'll probably be thinking to yourself, well, I thought he would be taller, or I thought he'd be smarter, or I thought he'd be nicer. But anyway, what time are we at here? Okay, we got time. And I only got one more email. Okay, so okay, we're good. Ghost Star Man looks. Idris Elba would probably be a decent Black Panther, but he's already cut ties with the MCU. Has he? Was he already in the MCU? Oh right, yeah, he was Buddy from Thor. That's right. So yeah, he was already in there. You know, but I mean, like Chris Evans, he's two characters in the MCU, right? He was the Human Torch, and he was Captain America. So you know. I mean, it's not to say that he couldn't come in and do it again, but no, I don't think so. Yeah, Heimdall. Thank you, old man. Yeah, Heimdall. I don't think he should come in for that though. I like Idris Elba, but I mean, unless of course you're going to tell stories of an older, more mature Black Panther, nah. But if you're going to continue Black Panther, in the current state of the MCU, no, I think you have to find somebody who's of that right age and that right look. Does he have to look exactly the same as Chadwick? It probably helps, but no. But I think realistically, I think they still have to have that same performance. I think and not to do what Chadwick did, but the same level. That same level. That's what it is. It's not the same acting. It's not, it doesn't have to be, doing an impression of that other performance. That person can still bring their own flavor to things, especially if they're somebody who's already established and well known, but they have to bring that same level of character and that level of acting, They have to still be that same level. Because Buddy, who plays, or he used to play now, Chadwick here, he a good actor, and like I said, Black Panther is one of the stronger Marvel films. It's just it's not a completely original story. It's kind of Lion King, really. Really, but what else? What else are you gonna do? Fire 18. Wait, there's a show today? Bill and Ted Face the Music is streaming. I wanted to see Tenet, but I'm not trying to die. Well, just wear a freaking mask. Wash your hands. Don't shake anybody's hands, and be mindful of what you touch when you go to the theater. I mean, I was thinking of going to go see Tenet. My son and I, we were both very excited to see that one. So yeah, maybe I'll check it out this weekend if I feel like braving the theater. But yeah, just wash your hands, wear a mask. These things aren't hard, people. I don't understand why people are so up in arms about wearing a fucking mask. I can't breathe. When did people become such bitches? I blame the internet. I blame the internet. Shaking the fist at the sky, blaming the internet. Andrea's Cookie. I love Dark Tower. I was entertained. I wasn't that familiar with the story, so, you know. But I watched the movie. And I liked Idris Elba. And, you know, McConaughey was McConaughey. Wasn't bad. It wasn't the complete shit show that I was expecting. I guess really because the bar was set so low already, it wasn't the complete shit show that I was expecting. Because everybody bashed the shit out of that film, right? And I watched it and it was, you know, I enjoyed it. Is it high ranking in my score of films? No. Am I dying to see it again? No. But it wasn't bad. Because if a movie's really great, you could watch it again and again and again and again, right? Or if it's just one of your favorites, you can watch it again and again and again, right? And Dark Tower, no. I mean, like, there wasn't anything in that I was, you know, oh, I can't wait to watch this one again, you know? David Brunfeld, my world is shattered by Kris. Inquisitor, greatest old school rogue trader, Obi-Wan Kenobi-Doo? Blunt? I don't get that reference, Inquisitor. Dan1222, when will you when will you next be live? When will I be next be live? When will I be next be live? I don't stream it. Well, if I stream again in the coming days, it'll be usually Mondays because I play games with my brother on Mondays. We play video games and stuff, whatever's. And then it's usually not Fridays and Saturdays. Fridays and Saturdays is usually when I'm on Twitch because I see you're on Twitch, obviously. And yeah, it's when I stream. I'm not in the habit of streaming all the time on Twitch, just because the nature of my other work, you know, filming videos occupies a lot of the time. Creating video tutorials, I mean, like, a lot of my work is mostly on YouTube. A lot of my work is geared towards YouTube. Again, social media, it's merely a business decision because YouTube is the bigger platform. And yeah, but although the culture as far as content creators, it seems to be a little friendlier on Twitch. But man, have I ever encountered a lot of racists on Twitch. Not so much on YouTube, but on Twitch, yeah, there seems to be quite a few. But I assume it's a lot of kids. You know, it's a lot of these little kids, or mentally deranged, one of the two. But yeah. Anyway, David Brunfeld. I don't get that. What, Kris was a god? I thought Kris was a god. No, I'm not a god. Don't get me started on the god subject. Goes to Starman Deluxe. Chris Evans isn't technically two MCU characters. The Human Torch was played when Fox owned the Fantastic Four and also... Right, but I'm saying he's Marvel, though. He was already two Marvel characters. And MCU is the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So... we can get really pedantic about it, but... yeah. Dan12222, what do you think about Disney charging an extra £30 to watch Mulan? And do you think they will do it more and more to make more money? Yeah, that seems crazy. I don't understand who the hell is going to spend $30 to watch a movie. If they'd have said $5-6, because that seems to be about the going rate on movie rentals, no probs, right? Especially since it is brand new, charging extra, sure. $30? No. Especially if it's going to be hot garbage, which it could be, because there's no funny dragon in it. And I mean, like, you know, at least with the live action Aladdin film, you know, they at least went through the trouble of getting the comedic genie involved. And in this iteration of Mulan, I don't see a funny little dragon voiced by Eddie Murphy. So, you know, I'm already, that's already a notch down for not seeing it. So, yeah, I'm not in a rush to watch it, and I sure as shit am not spending £30. I mean, you're spending £30 to watch it? Like, I assume British pounds, and in Canadian that's like $60 Canadian. So I'm certainly not spending $60 to watch Mulan when I can just go to the theater, when it could just as easily have been at the theater. Like, I don't understand, like, here in Canada we're already into the phase where we're kind of, opening things back up to normal again, normal hours and things like that, because we got our shit together, apparently on this side as opposed to south of the border. But we're already getting back to that kind of phase where we can kind of go back to doing normal things again, and it's which is why I'm considering going to see Tenet in the theater. Again, just wash your hands, wear a mask, don't touch your face. I mean, was this all really that difficult? Was it really that painful to do those things? Take those simple steps. Stay home if you didn't have to go out. Like, why was it so fucking hard? I don't understand. It's just crazy to me. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. Oh, man. But anyway, yes. 30 pounds, $60 Canadian on watching Mulan? No thanks. That's like for me to go to the show and spend that's four of us. $60, go see Mulan. I mean, I've spent that on a movie, but for all of us, no. It's not happening. Go Star Man Deluxe. Boomers wearing masks be like, oh, my nose is itchy. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean, that seems to be the stereotype, but yeah, I don't know. Dark Commission. It's only a mask today. It's only an app tomorrow. It's only a jab next week, and it's only a shower next month. Sure, but I don't think you're seeing the picture. What's happening today? Because if you continue to spread it, right, what it does is it crushes the healthcare system. Okay, so when you aren't feeling well or you need a doctor's note, you can't go because the fucking hospital's completely crushed with people, right? And the healthcare workers are completely swamped, overwhelmed, and those people are getting sick. So the people who are supposed to take care of the people are getting sick. Are you not seeing the inherent problem here? That's why these precautions, and it's the only measure we have. And even if a vaccine gets released today, it's still months and months and months out before people are getting vaccinated. And then, holy man, and then once the vaccine's out, can you imagine how many people are going to resist it? How many anti-vaxxers there are? People who are anti-science. Again, these by the power of Numb-Skull, right? Oh my God. Oh. Anyway. Just wear the mask. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face. I don't understand how fucking hard that is. People worried about people tracking and getting devices stuck into them and stuff like that, like getting chipped. You're walking around with a fucking cell phone. You're on social media, tweeting and Facebooking, and I mean, you're like, fuck. Are you fucking stupid? Like, holy shit. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face. Wear a mask when you're out, and if you don't have to go out, don't go out. I don't understand how hard this shit is. Anyway. Old Man Logan. If you wait, it'll be added to Disney Plus at some point in the future. Yeah, exactly. And it is a place for theatrical release. So really, if you just can't wait to see it, personally, I will wait. Personally, yeah. I mean, it's not even that high. Man, I haven't even watched Frozen 1 or 2. So, I mean, once my kids were kind of past that, Disney animated phase, yeah. I mean, periodically we'll watch, like, I haven't even watched the remake of Lion King, which, again, another one of those unnecessary things. I mean, like, next was what, Little Mermaid what else are we gonna get? Because we've already had like Jungle Book and little Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin. Oh man, Aladdin! Don't get me started on Aladdin. And shut up, Jabba. Yeah, you know. Man. Yeah, I don't realistically. Disney Plus, it's Star Wars, you know. Oh, and the other one was because Rebels. I wanted to watch Rebels in its entirety. Oh, and Clone Wars. I wanted Clone Wars as well, right? And then of course we were supposed to get the Falcon and Winter Soldier series. That still hasn't dropped. Where's that? Right? Where's the Falcon and Winter Soldier series? Like, you know, where is all this shit that we were promised on Disney Plus that was, you know, supposed to roll out? Where is this stuff? Of course, that's why they got to charge $30 for Mulan, because I'm sure since this whole pandemic started, they're hurting. They're hurting. Everybody's hurting. Oh, Loki. Yeah, old man Loki is right. Yeah, I haven't watched Frozen. Damn, Kris, warm hugs. No, I haven't watched Frozen, and yeah, I'm not in a rush to watch it either. Again, I don't have little kids. My kids are adults now, so you know. Ghost Star Deluxe. Basically, the anti-science people went full retard. Yeah, you never go full retard. Well, exactly, right? I mean, you know, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, you know. And realistically, it's an indictment of the education system, right? That's what it is. And, you know, yeah. Ghost Star Deluxe. People seem to unable to fathom the idea that if the government had the tech to chip everyone, they probably wouldn't need to chip people to keep the tabs on them. Right, but I mean, that's like the government keeping tabs on you. Yeah, like they're going to do it anyway, and you know, sticking you with a chip to track your movement. You do it already willingly with these little fucking devices. You already do it, and everybody has one. Even little kids. Parents are giving their kids these devices. You're already doing it. Idiots. Dan 12222. But people are outraged at the Little Mermaid because black women are playing her. Black women are playing her. It's more than one person playing the Little Mermaid. Really? Ariel? Yeah. Playing her, which just shows us the issue that we have. It shouldn't be about your skin color or disabilities. People have it about who is right and have the best ability to play the role. Sure. I mean, Little Mermaid being played by a black woman. I mean, no skin off my back. Yeah, people being outraged by that. Yeah, that's kind of ridiculous. You know. Yeah. Again, it doesn't make a lot of sense. You know. I mean, you know, the actors who played in Aladdin, were they all Middle Eastern? You know, Mulan, were they all Chinese? Mulan's supposed to be Chinese, isn't she? Or is it Japanese? No, it's Chinese, right? But yeah, you know, it's ridiculousness. Aaron Seach, I have a 7-year-old and I still haven't watched that Frozen shit. Yeah, but don't you have boys? I don't think your boys are clamoring for Frozen. Right? Or am I misinformed? I probably am. John J, episode 311, chip your children. Chip your children? Or throw your children into wood chippers. Ooh. Whoa, that got dark. Goes to Starman, kids love chips. Yeah, I know, they do, right? So, like, why wouldn't... Because all you got to do is convince everybody that's going to make you bionic. And everybody's going to chip themselves soon enough. Elon Musk has his way, right? Everybody's going to get neural links. That's going to get plugged into your brain. Right? Like, I'm exhausted. 4 minutes left. Okay, and I haven't done the email yet, so I got to do an email. Old Man Logan, Frozen was good, damn it. I'm not saying it wasn't good. I just haven't seen it. There's lots of movies out there that I haven't watched that are critically acclaimed. I'm in no rush to see them because they don't interest me. You know. Dan1222, my point is what a sad world we live in when that kind of thing outrages people, when people are dying and there are a lot more important things. Well, definitely. Yeah. Oh, definitely. People getting all upset about Star Trek, Star Wars, you know, Lord of the Rings, you know, Doctor Who, you know, all these fucking stupid things. What color a mermaid's skin is. Like, do you realize how stupid that is? You're upset about the color of a character's skin? Now, in the same breath, could Black Panther be played by a white person? Would people lose their shit if, you know, Leonardo DiCaprio was T'Challa? I don't know. If you're wearing headphones, turn them up or down, because here it comes. Email time. It's email time. Oh, it's done. This one is from our good buddy, Iron Addict. Hey there, Kris. This is Dave, a.k.a. Dave's not here, man. Iron Addict. New Patreon, which you can add my name to the list. You roll out at the end of each video. I have your name already added. It's just that the videos that get released just haven't been seen. Anyway. Hope all is well with you and the family. So, as I stated in our chat, I'm new to the hobby of painting minis. I started with some cheap models for D&D and Pathfinder, about $5 US each. After I got comfortable, I moved on to tabletop box set Dead Zone, and a friend got me in for Christmas, and finally I've transitioned to 40K. Although I do love my early models, I won't make their eyes bleed. I won't make your eyes bleed on my first models. There's nothing wrong with that. But I was hoping you would take a look at a couple of my newer models and give me some honest feedback. Honest feedback. Well, we don't do that around here. I will do my best to get you the best pictures I can, although I'm limited by my phone's camera, so best you can do would be appreciated. I'll attach the pics below. Thank you to Advance. Oh, thank you in advance for anything you can do to help me progress, as I'm loving painting these in my spare time. Thanks again, Dave. And so let's have a look at Dave's models. Now, right off the hop, I will say these are pretty good. If you're brand new to the hobby, I'm seeing having some fun here. I like the modeling that you have on the armor of all the Plague Warrior, like the Plague guys. Models like these, Nurgle and Orcs, I've said it many times, are very friendly, are new person friendly, as you know, a messy paint job still looks really good. And yeah, now I'm looking like the blight drone immediately draws my eye. I like that you painted the eye in there. I like the really bright pink flesh. It plays well with the kind of toned down green of the armor. The metals, I think a little bit more weathering could go on those metals to tone them down a bit. not to tone them down, but just kind of like introduce a little bit more color, the verdigris and the rust and things like that, because you do have like these other warmer elements on the model, especially with the brass. Now, a thing to consider when painting models like this. Now you are doing this stippling, it looks like. Let me zoom in a bit here. Yeah, see, it looks like a lot of stippling going on the armor. So I'm looking at Typhus. I like your work on the smoke. Like, for the most part, paint looks like it's where it should be. It looks like you've got like really good brush control as far as, you know, laying color down where you want it, picking out details, right? Like, as far as early paint jobs are concerned, like, these are pretty darn good, honestly. And that's no BS. And now, as I was going to go on about, modeling the armor surface where you have this really highly texturized visual on a model. Personally, I'd be very deliberate in how I employ this technique all over the model. It's a very effective way of creating lots of tone variation on a model. And I'm looking at the main core of the model here, and I'm looking at the armor with all that texture, and it's really good. And I like that the metal does not mirror that level of painting. You've been very deliberate. You've done a bit of edging and such along the brass of the armor, and I think smoother highlights on the flesh and the metal, in conjunction with how you're stippling the effect on the main body of armor, I think it visually balances well. Let's see, I'll have a look at the other warrior here. Now, the warrior on the right here, I think it looks like you just went from your darker tone to the brighter tone. And I think you should be a little bit more deliberate in how you do that. But I think you don't have to go about 2 or 3 colors, right? Your base tone, the mid tone, and your highlight tone. You can continue to do this stippling technique across the model surface. Really, if I had to take a guess, I would say you painted this warrior first, and then painted Typhus, and then painted this guy. If I was to guess the order in which I'm seeing brush skill being employed. Yeah, see, the warrior looks like an earlier effort, and you're getting more and more control, and I'm seeing like edge highlights on the cloak and stuff. And the flesh, I think the flesh I don't think you had to bring it up to this level of pink. I think you could have stayed within the realm of flesh tones, but the brighter pink doesn't hurt it. I think also the thrusters, the armor around the main fans themselves, I think could have been done in the same color as the armor, that green. But I like it. It looks good. I don't think there's anything necessarily that I would say. It's just this being mindful of how you're employing your technique. But that stippling motion, you can employ that very effectively. I think on the main armor of the Blight drone, where you're doing a lot of that stippling, you could also finish off with a bright edge highlight just along the edges of corners and stuff like that, just to frame those areas, you know. The brass and the armor parts, you could also do a brighter edging along those parts, especially on the icon on the armor, just to create a bit more separation there. But otherwise, like on the Marines themselves, if you went with that dark tone as your base, and then went with the mid-tone, stippled it in, and then just very carefully with a very brighter tone and stipple that, say, high points, that will create the illusion of highlights. And all you did was just stipple those in, and stippling is a very effective technique to achieve specific kind of looks and to create texture on a model surface. And so don't be afraid to do that kind of thing and continue to do it. But also, you know, as you're doing so, be sure to clean the model properly, priming the model, and laying a nice smooth base coat down. And again, I've mentioned that many times, you know, the fundamentals of miniature painting, the 3 fundamentals, right? Assembly, priming, base coating. In the base coating, laying a nice smooth base coat, master that. Get used to doing that. Don't worry so much about laying, you know, highlights and shadows and things like that. Just get used to laying the paint in a nice smooth fashion and getting a nice smooth base coat down on the model so that you barely see brushstroke. Because once you do that, because it requires you to thin the color down, and once you get used to working the color in a very thinned out fashion, you'll see glazing and layering and stuff like that. You'll see those in a new light, and you'll begin to understand how those you can employ those to greater effect. Stippling, nothing wrong with it. And in fact, it's a great technique to know and master, just like dry brushing, layering, glazing, all that stuff. You know, blending, feathering. You'll become a master in no time. In no time. I had another email, I think. Oh, it's from Scott. Okay. What time we at? I got time. There's time for this. There is time. This is from Scott. If you're considering the new Necromunda Ogrins, there is a box of 6 for 100 Canadian cash bucks. Buy in bulk for savings. Painted this dude quick. Maybe a third the time I usually take. Don't tell anybody. I didn't even paint eyeballs. Shh. Trying to get 10-man Frostgrave Warband together with the quickness. He's got red robes because that's what a bad guy would wear. Pretty sure, anyway. Let me know your thoughts. Have a good one. And here's from Scott. Oh, excuse me. Oh, look at this guy. I like him. Zoom in. I like the robes. I like the skin tone. He looks like he should be going Kalima. Kalima. I like it. It is a fairly fast paint job, even for you. Because I mean, like, I think you could have refined some of those highlights on the robes, but I mean, like, I see like on where, like, close to the midsection, like that would dangle down between the legs, that red part, I see really nice stark highlights there, and I kind of wanted to see that on the robes, on the sleeves. A little bit of snow paints a nice little picture. I like the texture on the fur. Yeah. But I mean, if you're going to be gaming with this, I mean, man, it's fantastic for gaming. But definitely, Kalima. Kalima. I like the little spot color of his scabbard. No, it's really good. It's good work, man. And I think this model is pretty tiny, right? It's a pretty tiny model. I dig it, dude. But I mean, if it was a fast paint job, I mean, well, then it was a fast. It is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. Those words get thrown around quite a bit these days, no? It is what it is. It is what it is. Yeah, Grim, neat fur. Yeah, I thought the fur was really nice texture on the fur. But I mean, like, if it was intended as a fairly quick paint job, and you know, you weren't looking to put a lot of you know, I don't want to say not a lot of effort, but you know, you weren't looking to spend a lot of time on it and, you know, bring it up. I mean, it looked fantastic, and I mean, I'm sure that guy's just a little wee feller. Yeah. No, it looked good. I like it. I like the color scheme. I overall, I mean, and it was consistent with how you painted. And yeah, that looks like if you spent maybe another couple hours on it, it would be to more what you do. But I mean, if you're happy with it, that's all that matters, right? And I mean, for a tabletop model, I don't even think I would have pushed it that far. You know, base coat, a little bit of a shade, little edging, done. I don't even know if I would have went that far, man. I don't even know if I would have went that far. Scott Radom, good stuff on the Nurgle guys. Don't be afraid to finish the bases. A simple base is easy to do and really helps. Oh, definitely, yeah. The bases, yeah, of course. I mean, Citadel, I mean, if you're sticking within the Citadel side of things, I mean, getting the technicals, I mean, that what is it? Agrilian Earth, the one that with the crackle medium and the brown tones. That's almost all purpose. Like you can use that all over the place for anything, you know. Yeah. Ghost Starman Deluxe, nice niece. I can't read anymore. Nice work, Scott. Reminds me a bit of the bad guy from Temple of Doom. Yeah, that's why he's going Kalima. Come on, kid. Come on. Come on. So yeah, we're good. We're good on that side of things. We got our emails done. We only had a few emails to do. That's okay because I have to cut the show short. Well, not short. It's 2 hours. I say at the beginning of the show, it's 120 minutes. That's 2 hours. We're already 11 minutes over time, which means that we are at the end of the show. And if you are brand new to this hobby and you want some help with your painting, you want help with the color scheme, or you want a particular technique, or you just want your questions answered, feel free to ask them in the chat or whatever. And of course, if you're not watching this live, you're watching this after the fact, you can submit your questions to Kris@wayofthebrush.com. It is in the description below, as well as a link to wayofthebrush.com, central hub of all the silliness. Has links to all the social medias as well as Discord. Join us on Discord. It's a lot of fun. We keep the conversation rolling there. And the monkeys are more than willing to help as they are knowledgeable. And everybody just loves sharing. And of course, you know, we have a lot of fun there. And it gets a little weird at times, but yes, but the show gets a little weird at times. So, you know, I mean, today, what did I do? I just talked about movies all damn day. This one might as well be the movie review show. Also, at wayofthebrush.com is a link for t-shirts. Want to get yourself a t-shirt? Look like a connoisseur of all that is good and holy in this world? They're wearing a Way of the Brush t-shirt. And if you purchase yourself a shirt, send a picture of yourself in your shirt, and I will add it to the Monkey Shrine, which is also at wayofthebrush.com, as well as a link to Patreon. Big thank you to all my patrons who currently support. Without you guys, these videos and the tutorials and everything that I do would not be possible. And so, huge thank you to all my patrons. Thank you. We're not quite to our goals yet, but with, you know, your support and of course with new support, we will be able to achieve our goals. And if anybody considering Patreon support, there are varying tiers and perks to tier support. So check them out, and you know, hopefully you find one that you find acceptable. And you know, huge thank you. If you're not able to support monetarily, i.e. money, thumbing up the video, liking, commenting, subscribing, following, and sharing the video, engaging with the video, all those things help, and help push it to other viewers who like you, you know, might consider supporting, or just, you know, liking the video as well and sharing it, you know what I mean, and just getting the word out there. So all that engagement helps me and helps the videos and helps, you know, move them along. And you know, and all it takes is a couple clicks of a button and you're helping me out tremendously. So hopefully you consider doing that as well. Big thank you to Carl, aka Guymere Alfer, aka Beer Blood Bowl. That's his YouTube channel. Check him out. We always take the time. Thank Carl. Rest in peace. For taking the time out of his busy day and what was going on with his life to create the email jingles that play before the email segments of the show. As always, we always say thank you. Always we say thank you to Carl, and much love. And speaking of love, much love to my baby brother Evan, taking time out of his busy day to create the email jingles that play, or email jingle, the intro outro music that plays at the beginning and end of the show. So always much love. And of course, in the description below is a link to EB Comics. He sells rare comics, not comets, comics. So check those out as well. We're done. We're done for the day. Any last words of wisdom from anybody? Scott, thank you guys. He does have a Mola Ram vibe. Finished another dude while watching this AM. Kalima. Pumpty was was what he said when he yanked out dude's heart. Oh yeah. Pumpty. Kalima. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, old man looking for the record. You still ran long. I did. You didn't run from. Woohoo! I win. I bet. Shut up. All right, I'm getting the hell out of here. You guys enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Go paint something. Go hug a loved one. Go see a movie. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face. And if you have to absolutely go out, wear a mask and stay safe, people. Like, for God's sakes. Especially you south of the border in America. My God, people, get that shit under control. So I can come back to the States and visit. I mean, I could go into the States if I want, but then if I came back home, I'd have to quarantine. And it's like, oh my God. It's a pain in the ass. It's just a pain in the ass. There's a whole bunch of, it's just, for the love of God, my American viewers, please, for the love of God, get your act together. And never mind all this other craziness that's going on. Craziness. It's all craziness, for God's sakes. Craziness. Alrighty. Stay safe, people.